Hey, so van life has changed, right? Pretty obviously. The aspiration of like buying a van and getting an online job and traveling the country and like living on the road, that's not really a thing that people like talk or think about anymore. Instead, car life has turned into the reality for a lot of Americans like myself who are realizing that they can't afford a house, they can't even afford rent, and they're basically one missed paycheck away from just living out of their car, because that's usually the thing that people own outright, the last step, right? You either own it outright or you're still making payments on it because that's a lot cheaper than rent, although at this point it might be literally the same for you if you have a newer car. This is Cricket. How we look at van life, car life, bus life, whatever you want to call it, has kind of shifted in the public view in just over the past year, because now, regardless of what financial status you're at, even if you have the nicest Sprinter van, even if you have the online job, the Starlink, you're still very close to being seen as homeless, right? Like, it's objectively not a quote-unquote safe idea anymore. You can't be seen as one of the reckless, unruly people doing things against the system, right? Obviously, that's been a pretty recent change in just 2025, this past year. Are we surprised? No, no one is. If you've been like expecting this, looking into it in the slightest, if you've been living this life, I don't think you are shocked. I mean, we've seen BLM lands be sold off. Lots of government lands shut down because of bare bones workers. So I assume you're clicking on this because you're either a bus/van/car lifer yourself, or because you're interested in it in general. And I feel like personally the best way for me to be able to describe the things that I've seen, this mindset shift and the way that people act and are, is to just go through my personal story on how I got here and the dates and timelines of these things happening. So my partner and I became homeless in September 2024 of last year. I'm filming this in October of 2025. And we were originally from Oregon, had lived in Georgia for 2 years together while I did my big girl corporate job, and moved back to Oregon to help my family and help take care of my mom since she's disabled. And I did that for about a year until a lot of familial things happened. My parents got divorced, also just a lot of true colors, and specifically understanding that fundamentally my parents were much more financially focused than family focused in any way, shape, or form, including their relationship with me. They had the midlife crisis, and also their lives aren't what they want them to be at 50. What a shocker. All of your personal decisions you've made have turned into this one scenario and setting, and now you're upset. Anyways, fucking huge kerfuffle with my parents later. It was a sort of getting kicked out, but also still not really wanting us to leave. I bought a bus. I bought us a shuttle bus, a 2001 Ford F350 Champion shuttle bus, I believe. Facebook Marketplace with the simple IRA money that I had saved from my corporate job at CChem. I had $5K in that account, and actually I had $10K total in that account, and I was able to buy us a car and the bus that I needed to be able to start this. So I had a huge boost going into this. I had a huge boost. I had credit, but I came into it with a lot of debt from buying my parents' food for a year before moving into the bus. So I did still have quite a lot of credit card ability to use, even though I did not have a ton of money that I was making, and I was making about $400 a month. So for the first 3 months of us being homeless in the bus, we basically just hopped around to different like day use spots on the Oregon coast. It was really hard, not gonna lie, because we didn't really have our setup. It was a lot of stuff that we needed at the time because we didn't have other things. Just a cooler. I had just a propane stove. We had no power whatsoever except a tiny little solar panel that was already in this bus when we purchased it. So we were able to charge our phones, but not much else. And it was really hard. It was pretty difficult. A lot of the time we were going back and forth between the Oregon coast and an inland city. I kind of felt like a fucking rat, not gonna lie. I felt like I was completely a part of society. I would go into the laundromat and I would look around at the people around me, and I hadn't had a shower in months. We had lived on the side of mountains for quite a while as well. We had done parking lots and then also done like BLM land, and also like parking in front of unused logging gates that, you know, you're not really ideally supposed to do, but also when they block off all of the other places that you would be able to stay, that's kind of your only option if you need to stay in an area. Did it. It's hard. It's hard, especially if you have to be kind of based in one area, just because you're not like doing the whole travel thing. It's hard to do the whole travel thing because it's a lot of gas money. It's a lot. I'm really glad that we had the experiences that we did, because it really got me to appreciate small town Oregon coast cities versus like larger cities. I've had the experience of literally not being able to sleep for like 4 nights in a row, because every spot we tried, we got the knock at like 3 a.m. Sometimes like 4 or 5 too. Like it would be like almost making it through the whole night, and then somebody eventually would come. And of course, both of us are white. I'm young and pretty, so I get a lot of benefits of the doubt of like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be you stepping out. I thought it was going to be someone that I, you know, would visually dislike and therefore treat worse. So like I was able to do a lot of crazy shit that obviously if I was any other color or simply fat like I used to be, I would have been treated a fuck of a lot differently. Food pantry saved our life. Started doing all of this in September of last year, and that was when we were obviously still under Biden, and that was before obviously all of the federal food cuts that are going on right now, and it was also really easy to be able to get like federal assistance for food stamp help. So I'm disabled. I did the corporate job. I now have POTS. I have endometriosis and PCOS. I'm actually on my period right now, and it's kind of hard to stand. That's the reason that you saw me rolling earlier in this video. I can't work a normal job. My partner absolutely physically can work a normal job, but I kind of need someone to basically take care of me. All I really do is cook in our life. And Alder does everything else, including the dishes, including cleaning, including taking care of the pets, including taking care of me, and also now doing the job that allows us to have power and water and all of the things that we do now. I couldn't function if he had a normal job, because I can't do this alone. I can't live alone, and that's basically what having a partner with a full-time job is. You have to basically be housewife, and I can't do that. So I had a little nonprofit job that I got $400 a month with, and basically used up all of my fucking credit cards being able to just survive. We were also able to get food stamps, which was a huge help, and actually it's I was only on them for a year, and these last few months we haven't touched them. I was able to like cancel basically because we made enough money, which has been amazing. But I was really easily able to get food stamps. I was really easily able to go get amazing fresh greens, a lot of meat, a lot of produce, a lot of everything possible from food pantries. And we were very homeless, had zero heat. It was really hard, but like we were able to do it. We were able to find community and get the things that we needed because of that. And in January of 2025, we accepted a position to be a camp host at a national forest that was like basically like a campground visitor center complex on the Oregon coast, essentially. And it was basically like an unpaid job that I had to do for like 4 days a week. And they gave us a spot at a government compound that was like 15 minutes away, but we had to have our own transportation to get to the shifts every day. And like, sure, there was like gas reimbursement and stuff, but it would take like 6 months, and also that's now eliminated because they took it away before we quit. So it's like 6 months there. I signed on for 6 months, and then 3 months in, I actually ended up having like a weird like sexual harassment thing with my boss, who is a woman and had a cop husband and kind of insinuated she wanted a threesome. But anyways, that's unimportant. It was really strange. What was good was looking into other park stuff and did that instead. That was not on a federal level. Now getting to basically still be homeless. However, I have the benefit of power and water at campgrounds and day use parks. Oh my God, Cricket. Look at her go. Jesus Christ. Been able to kind of see the shift in like the luxury camping, like camping van life aesthetic kind of decrease a little bit, or at least people just, it's changed significantly. Camping has changed, and it's given me kind of a perfect viewpoint to see how people are doing. Our national parks are defunded. Everyone is understaffed. We witnessed our entire time of being completely understaffed, them relying on volunteers super heavily. And also, this is coming as most of these volunteers are aging out of their capacity to be able to volunteer. Because you have to realize that camp hosting is a gig for old people by old people, right? This is for old folks who have retired, but still quote unquote want to work, or because they like want to travel, and they get their little setup. And you see a huge variety of this, right? Couples, single people, whatever, from super rich to super poor, right? There's a huge spectrum of everything. But this is traditionally for, like, when the people in power were putting this in place, what they were imagining were objectively, say, a white couple, an elderly white couple who is already retired but is still objectively able to work. Getting bored because they don't have anything outside of their job that they've worked at for 50 plus years, and they have literally no personality or anything outside of being a good soldier and doing the thing. And sure, they love nature, they love to travel. That's always the words that they use. I love nature, I love to travel. I just wanted to do something that was outside. Amazing. I'm so happy for you. I'm glad that this is in place because I get to use it. Like, I'm not negatively saying anything here. It's just, that's what the situation is, right? So, all of these people now, who this system was put in place for, have been doing it for the past 20 plus years. I have seen people with thousands of hours logged at individual parks. And the parks that I'm at have a 3-month cap at them. So, like, these are people who do 3 months and then come back every fucking year, constantly. Because they've done it so long, and this is how they live their life. And now they're getting to a point where they are too old to do this. They're aging out of their ability to work. Well, the states are running out of money, absolutely being defunded. There's a lot of Oregon state parks now that are charging for day use areas that previously did not have fees. Organizations themselves are running out of money. And also they need volunteers more than ever because they are limiting their staff that they're hiring. And the volunteers are aging out. There is a perfect gap here for people like us to get a free place to live, literally in exchange for power and water, and a small amount of work. This is work that is meant to be done by old people. They do not expect you to, like, do crazy shit here. It's cleaning yurts, or cleaning sites, or, like, picking up garbage, or selling firewood. Like, yes, objectively, it kind of sucks to live in a campground. Yes, objectively, it kind of sucks to have to do a job on top of probably another job, because obviously none of us have retirement money or like VA loan or VA assistance coming in every month or all of these other things. So you have to do some kind of job outside of this. But I do urge you to like look into things like this around you, because you'd be surprised on like not just at like state or federal levels, but like local campgrounds who also do the same thing. Look into other things that give you a little bit of stability but still allow you to be mobile. I can say this in a more privileged light because specifically I have gone the past year with not having either vehicle registered in my name because I was too poor to be able to do that, and I did not have an address to register them to. I have all of the paperwork. I obviously bought both of these vehicles legally. I have everything ready to register them. I just didn't have the funds and I didn't have an address. Finally, after a huge shift that's happened over the past few months for me has occurred, I started making content online. I started making adult content online specifically, which has allowed us to have things like this amazing fridge and freezer combination. Hell yeah. That's what Cricket's on currently. I'm able to get everything set up and all of my ducks in a row that I needed to. I'm also getting this right before there's about to be the biggest rate hikes that I've seen in like DMV regions for us specifically. Like everything's going up from registration of like $100 to like $200. Like it is the biggest jump that I've seen. I am luckily able to do all of this before that happens, and I'm really fucking grateful to be able to do that. But I'm also really glad that I have this mobile setup for us to be in while we're going through these unprecedented times, right? Like, objectively, yeah, it's kind of scary to, like, not have an address. Yeah, it's kind of scary to, like, be considered homeless, but also I would much rather be in this position where I'm kind of able to go somewhere and do something. Like, I will show you my bus because this is the place that I live. I just finally was able to, like, resort our pantry because half of our bus is really just food storage. So obviously I'm not saying to, like, go be a camp host with this. And I'm also not, like, telling you exactly what to do. But I do feel that it's kind of valuable to be mobile at this point, and even with especially with all of the vitriol against homelessness, I think that there is that movement that has to happen. I think that there's a bunch of people who are being pushed into it. Obviously, like myself, I have, you know, one story out of fucking thousands, millions at this point, who are just a paycheck away from having the car be the only thing that they have, right? We've all seen the storage unit videos. I myself have a storage unit, shocker. People are living differently. People are doing van life differently. I think that right now, even a job doesn't mean security. We've been seeing that with all of the massive amounts of layoffs, obviously even government jobs, who are supposed to be like the cream of the crop, the best possible thing you could get that's super easy, that's you're never going to get laid off from. Those people are getting laid off. Tech jobs are disappearing. Like, I think there's a lot of stuff that's happening right now that means that, like, the traditional, like, tiers of the American dream, the idea of the American dream in general, is just disappearing. Like, I myself don't believe in it. What I want is to get a piece of land and have other people fucking with me for a community. I have other videos on my other channel talking about, like, my vision of my future family and all of these other things with my partner. I think we have to come together as a community. And also, us young people do need to find the few old people who understand that young people are the future. Our biggest problems are all caused by men in power, old men in power, refusing to give up on that power and pass that on, and pass on the world literally to the young people who are here for it, who are here to endure everything that the older generations have done and left for us in climate change and all of the fucking shit we're dealing with. And instead, we have the little resources that we have currently going to fucking AI data centers and poisoning towns and the people who live there. I mean, like, imagine buying a house. Imagine finally getting there, having your little place of security, and then fucking Elon Musk and his buddies move in and literally poison your groundwater. And now you're just fucked because no one's gonna buy your house. And you can't live there safely anymore either. They don't care about us. They're changing the rules to blatantly show that they've never cared about us, especially if you're not this color. Like, it just means we have to do shit differently. It means we have to think differently. It means you have to fully get out of the stupid white nationalism propaganda that you've been fucking, like, deep-throating your whole life. I mean, fuck. Just because I have a fridge and freezer now does not mean I'm, like, any better than when I was as a fucking, like, super homeless rat that, like, didn't get to shower and didn't have any money. This is an us versus them thing. It just is. And right now, in my disabled state, the only thing that I can do is literally just sit here and talk to a camera about what I'm doing personally and how I'm surviving this. I couldn't do this without my partner. I couldn't do this without the stroke of luck that content creation has been for me. I couldn't do this without the body that I'm incredibly grateful to have and very lucky to have, because it's one that I did not have just a year ago. I used to be much more physically disabled. I used to be much larger. I used to have all of these other things that would plague me daily that I don't have to deal with anymore, that I'm very grateful for. I just think that it's time for us to do something different. And I think that I just want you to look at it realistically. I saw a video of this couple who knew that they had 2 years worth of savings saved up that they could comfortably live in the same house that they had purchased and keep their lifestyle up. They had enough savings for 2 years and then it was going to run out and they would not be able to afford it anymore. And instead of doing anything knowing that you couldn't afford that lifestyle that you have, they continued living like that for 2 years until their savings was wiped, until they couldn't do anything anymore. And then they basically looked around and were like, well, fuck, now we don't have a house. And to that I say, oh my God, do anything. Oh my God. My mom didn't technically kick us out. She threatened us. She basically accused us of stealing shit that I've had since like I was a child. Like my fly fishing shit that she gave me when I was in like middle school was suddenly stolen now. Anyways, old people in power. Ugh. But really, what she wanted was for me to start like magically paying her money that I didn't have for rent that she really didn't deserve because she was going through financial troubles. She should have fucking sold that house, downsized because you're alone now, and I don't know, done anything for herself. Instead, we went our separate ways because it's not my job to like fix your financial things that you walked into yourself as a fucking adult. I'm just your kid. I didn't ask to be here or be a part of this. If you see that that is in your future and coming, I say fucking meet it with open arms. Sure, I had 10K advantage that most people are going into this not having, but also that technically was my like retirement and safety net that I worked for super hard. And I used it to buy us this. I used it to buy us our bus and our fucking car. I didn't know what we were going to do afterwards, but I was able to figure it out, and now I'm financially way better off than I have. I have literally $1,500 in the fucking bank right now, and that's not very much, I know, but I was able to get our fucking car done. I was able to get it aligned, and now my car is like perfectly set up. It's had an oil change. I have been able to do everything to allow us to continue to live and get better. We have a fridge and freezer. We have so many quality of life upgrades with just small amounts of money. And really, that's all you need. You do not need an insane amount of money. You just have to be fucking crafty about it. You have to be a little raccoon. You have to go on Facebook Marketplace. You have to find free shit. You have to go to food pantries. You have to actually just be okay with what you are, which is just a fucking human living in this world that is crumbling around you. Like, you have to be okay with just doing the things that you need to do to survive. The American dream is dead. There are no good jobs that are going to save you. You're probably not going to ever buy that dream house that you wanted. I'm sorry. If you're like me, if you're literally a paycheck away from losing your fucking apartment, you're probably not going to do that. And digging your heels in deeper and getting more in debt is not going to help you. So I'm not saying like fucking jump into car living, but also like at least embrace it with open arms. At least think about it as an actual option. Think about, okay, if I actually did lose my apartment tomorrow, how would I make my car livable? What would I do in this situation? Where would I go? How would I help myself? Because really, that's the only things you can be thinking about right now. On my other channel, I have a lot of videos talking about community and not being individualistic. But in this scenario, I am telling you to think about yourself as an individual because you haven't made your community yet. My community is Alder. My community is my partner that I live with, my fucking 2 pigeons and my 2 cats. Who is your community? I think they're probably going to crack down much harder using AI and all of the wonderful things that they've created over the past few years to target American citizens and make it a lot harder to quote unquote be free. Live a life that is not a corporate slave, because that's really what we are. We're a country of corporate slaves. That's what they want us to be. So don't be that. You have to find your way into doing something else, because really, if everyone just gives up on the idea of having to fucking be the corporate slave, they really can't do much. Sure, they can send the fucking army, but is the army, after being talked to like they just fucking were, really going to go fire on Mima and fucking Papa? I don't really think so. I don't. Genuinely. I think at this point, we just have to fucking turn our backs on their bullshit and be like, fuck no, I'm not doing it. I'm not saying they're not gonna make it hard, but I'm saying you have to do your own fucking rebellion in the only way that you can, which is just not being involved in the system. However that means for you, whatever that means. If you still have a fucking, like, remote job, absolutely keep it. I'm not saying fucking, like, quit your job with no plan and just go do the fucking free hippie thing. That was for the 70s when you could get away with that. You fucking can't right now. You have to have fucking... You can't just, like, go into the forest and decide to put up a house there. They'll fucking hunt you down. Whatever, I get it. So you have to play their game a little bit to be able to fucking get out of it. Right now, I'm doing camp hosting things. My partner does all of the work needed for camp host gigs. I basically just get to live here, and I get to shower, and I get to have Wi-Fi, and all of these super nice things. That is a massive privilege for me and my situation and scenario. I totally understand that. I think you could do it too. I think you could do something. I think you have the imagination, and you are the only person in your life, in your shoes, in your situation right now, and you know what needs to be done. Whether that's just taking a leap of faith and fucking, like, doing the car thing, or stocking up on specific dried goods. Like, you know what could be good for you in your situation, and I'm just urging you to do it. Yes, they are shutting down, like, BLM lands. Yes, it is much harder to find camping spots. Yes, it's much harder to be in cities. Maybe don't be in cities. I know that that's, like, a big thing, but I genuinely, like, I am never going to be around one again. I recommend all of the other young people that I meet doing this, don't fucking be there. Find yourself a good pocket of old people. Literally, the Oregon coast is the perfect little old person territory because there's nothing fucking here except timber and ocean. There's mountains. It's difficult to fucking do anything with. They've logged everything that they can fucking log, and they're still going harder on that. I've seen logging trucks with basically fucking twigs at this point. They're just going crazy. No one's gonna fucking send the military to the Oregon coast. It's a bunch of fucking old white people. That's where you should be. That's where you should be. You should be in their fucking, literally, we should be invisible, but there. Because honestly, they have a bunch of fucking resources. They have a bunch of shit on Facebook Marketplace. And also, there's a lot of old people who do actually see what's going on around you. It's just that they've already fucking made it. They're alone on their fucking farms, and they have no one to, like, they have no one to talk to or, like, pass on the fact that they're actually, like, you know, aware of what's happening. As young people, we have to go find that. We have to go find community. We have to go find what we fucking need. I don't know if I can buy land myself. I sure as fuck can't right now. Maybe if I got, like, a really shitty piece of land that would be super hard to grow stuff on, but I want something here. I had a neighbor who is currently letting me use his Starlink, has told me about this fucking, like, pot farm that's out in this super specific region of the Oregon coast. There's old people who are looking for young people to help them fucking work, basically, on this, like, farm and little commune setup that they have. It used to be this roaring thing in, like, the 70s, and now it's just a few old folks who are holding it down. That's the kind of thing that, like, people like us need to be fucking looking for. People who have safe spaces to be and want young people because they understand that that's the situation. I don't know what it's going to be for you. I don't know how you're going to meet these people. Facebook? And oh my god, meeting people online. Yeah, I met my fucking best friend online. That's one of through a fucking van life Facebook group. She's in a bunch of my other videos on my other channel. Use your fucking resources. The answer is that there's there's a lot of young people, but they're all fucking scattered. We have to find each other, and we have to fucking link up, and we have to do the things that are right for us. If you're an older person, this still fucking applies to you. You have to find fucking people of your community. Find people you want to make community with, and fucking make that community whatever that means for you, however that looks. This is Cricket, by the way. She's molting, so she looks really ugly. Such a vicious creature. So yeah, I think van life is becoming less of an aspiration and more of just like a a slowly dreadful reality a lot more people are facing. And to that I say, I don't know, think about if you were going to be homeless, what you would want to be homeless in. I don't know, just like fucking get creative. Obviously this is like a small space, and like I didn't do the we didn't have time to do the actual like influencer. We're putting in heated floors or money. Yeah, no nice things of any kind. So, that's okay. We just fucking did it. Like, the dresser was like 25 fucking bucks off of Facebook Marketplace. The plastic thing we fucking had for like ever. The other plastic thing I've had forever. Like, you can make things work in your fucking small spaces. You just have to do it. Be resilient. I don't know.